Okra and Okra once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Today I'm back with fruit of the day, the one and only okra. So maybe you've never heard of okra. Maybe you spell okra with a C. Maybe you dislike the slime that oozes from the pods. Well, whatever the case may be, please listen and watch on why, because we're about to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of okra. All right, first up, a little bit of background information. Although commonly thought of as a vegetable, okra is actually a fruit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about this before. Whenever a plant food has seeds and an edible fruit, always remember it is a fruit, not a vegetable. Also, an edible ornamental flowering hibiscus, okra is an annual erect fruit with stems that contain stiff hairs. Also, the only part of the plant that is eaten is the unripe pods or fruit. The inside of okra pods contains oval dark colored seeds and a good amount of mucilage, which is a gelatinous substance that makes okra a great addition to recipes that you want to thicken, such as soups and stews. So there we have it, guys. We now officially know that okra is a fruit, and if you're looking to make a soup or a stew, okra is probably a great addition. Why? Because it acts as a thickening agent. So, background information about okra. Moving on, now it's time for a few fun facts. Many people wonder, why is okra so slimy? Take a look at the picture. That mucilage or slime inside of the pods consists of exopolysaccharides and glycoproteins. This gooey aspect of the pods actually provides some really incredible okra health benefits. Now, these benefits we will definitely get more into in a little while, so please hang tight. But in the meantime, take a look at the picture. As you can see, once you cut okra open, the slime, or in this case, the mucilage, is released. All right, now more fun facts. Now, a lot of people who are already familiar with okra will probably be wondering, how do I cook okra without it being slimy? One method is to cook it whole, or if you're going to slice it, aim for bigger chunks. To reduce slime, some cooks soak whole okra in a mixture of vinegar and water for 30 to 60 minutes before using it in recipes. According to experts, adding lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, or chopped tomatoes can also lower the slime that remains in your final product. And now here's a really cool fact. If you're following a keto diet or another low-carb diet, it's helpful to know that okra is an acceptable choice. So who knew that you can eat okra on a ketogenic diet? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So for all of us who are looking to lose a little bit of weight via a low-carb diet or a ketogenic diet, okra is an excellent choice. Why? Because it is extremely low in carbs. Now, later on when we talk about the nutrition facts, we'll find out just how many carbs are in a single serving of okra. All right, it's time for the not-so-fun facts. Okra contains solanine. Some people with joint conditions like arthritis try to avoid solanine. In addition, okra is high in vitamin K, and people on blood thinners are often advised to avoid high vitamin K foods. So there we have it, guys. If you have arthritis or if you are on blood thinners, then you probably want to either eliminate or maybe even reduce the amount of okra that is currently in your diet. All right. Time for more not-so-fun facts. Okra contains a good amount of fructans, a type of carbohydrate that can lead to gas, cramping, diarrhea, and bloating for some people with bowel or gut problems like irritable bowel syndrome, also known as IBS. Check with your doctor before consuming okra if you have a condition like IBS. Also, okra is high in oxalates, so check with your doctor before making okra a part of your diet. If you are prone to kidney stones. So there we have it, guys. If you have irritable bowel syndrome or kidney stones, then once again, you may either want to reduce or maybe even completely eliminate okra from your diet. But of course, check with your doctor first. All right, it's time to dive into the 5-20 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, 23% Nation, the 5-20 rule is all about food labels. Yes, as a matter of fact, the 5-20 rule helps us to not only read food labels, but it also helps us to understand food labels. Ultimately, the 5-20 rule is a guide. It's a guide that lets us know whether or not a food or beverage item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, to be specific, when we talk about the 5-20 rule, really what we're discussing is percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now let's take a look at our sample food label. As you can see, it is divided into 3 colored parts. The first colored part is the purple portion, then we have the yellow portion, and then we have the light blue portion. So at this time, let's take it portion by portion. First, let's discuss the lavender or light purple portion, which, as you can see, is entitled percent daily value. Now, in this column, you basically have percentages. Some are as low as 0%, and believe it or not, this range can go as high as 100%. Now, let's take a look at the yellow portion. Now, the yellow portion does a good job of highlighting those nutrients which unfortunately do a really good job at promoting disease, sickness, and illness within the body temple. So, when it comes to saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium, you really want to choose foods and beverages whose percent daily value for these nutrients are as close to 0 as possible. Lastly, when we take a look at the light blue portion, we're talking about dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron, which basically represent all vitamins and minerals. These nutrients, unlike the yellow nutrients, do a really good job at promoting not only health within the human body, but also wellness within the human body. So if anything, you want to consume foods and beverages whose percent daily value are as close to 100% as possible. Now, let's be a little more specific. If a food or beverage item contains anywhere from 0% to 9% DV of any particular nutrient, then that food or beverage item is considered not a good source of that particular nutrient. Next, if the food or beverage item contains 10% to 19% of any particular nutrient, then that food or beverage item is considered a good source of that particular nutrient. Lastly, if the food or beverage item contains 20% DV or greater, then that food or beverage item is considered an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there we have it, guys, the ins and outs about the 5-20 rule. All right, let's dive into the nutrition facts, shall we? Now, for today's lecture, we're going to simply say that a single serving of okra is equivalent to a half cup of cooked okra. That's right, guys, cooked okra. Now, in this single serving, we're only going to get 25 calories. That's not a lot. We're going to get 2 grams of fiber, which is only equal to 8% DV. Now, based on the 5-20 rule, 8% DV means that a single serving is not a good source of fiber. But if you're concerned, all you got to do is double it up, and your 8% now becomes 16%, which now makes it a good source of fiber. Now, moving on, a single serving of okra contains 1.5 grams of protein. This is for all of us who think that plant foods don't contain protein. Well, as you can see, they clearly do. Also, only 5.8 grams of carbs. Now, earlier we stated that okra is an excellent choice for any type of ketogenic or low carbohydrate diet. Well, as you can see, per serving, you're only getting approximately 6 grams of carbs. So that is why it's an excellent source for a low carb diet. Moving on. Vitamin C comes in at 22% DV, so it's an excellent source. Magnesium comes in at 11.5% DV, good source. Then we have folate, which by the way is one of our B vitamins, coming in at 9.3% DV, not a good source. Then we have vitamin A coming in at 9.2% DV, not a good source. Potassium, 7.3% DV, not a good source. Calcium, 5% DV, not a good source. And iron coming in at only 2.3% DV, not a good source. So there we have it, guys, the nutrition facts about the one and only okra. All right, now it's time to dive into the health benefits. But before we do, Coach D wants to enlighten you upon something. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to discuss the principle of cause and effect. Now, some of us may already be familiar with this principle. Why? Because it's one of the 7 Hermetic principles. And it basically states that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There really is no such thing as chance and or luck. In other words, everything happens for a reason. Now, the reason why I bring this up is simply because I need to let you know that in order to be healthy, you have to cause it. And the same thing is with disease. If you have a disease, believe it or not, you probably caused that too. So, continuing with the lecture, not only do I want to give you the benefits, or we can say the effects of consuming okra, but I also want to give you the causes, or we can say the phytonutrients that are responsible for these causes. So first up, okra regulates heart rhythms, blood pressure, and cholesterol levels. Now, we can thank calcium for that. Number 2, okra improves heart health. That's right. So we can thank soluble fiber as well as the pectins that are in the okra. Number 3, okra improves eyesight. So, which phytonutrients improve eyesight? Well, say hello to vitamin A and beta carotene. Number 4, okra is a good source of protein. That's right, guys. Now, here's what you got to understand is that there are 2 amino acids that are very prominent in okra. So say hello to lysine and tryptophan. Number 5, okra helps lower cholesterol levels. Great. So now the question is, which phytonutrients cause this? Well, say hello to soluble fiber, specifically gums and pectins, and also mucilage. And let's quickly remember that mucilage is the slime. That's right, guys. So believe it or not, all that slime does the body good. Number 6, okra helps stabilize blood sugar. That's right. So we can thank the lipids that are in the okra for that. And lastly, okra is good for digestion, so we can always say thank you to the insoluble fiber. And once again, the mucilage strikes again. That's right, guys. Say thank you to the slime. So there we have it, guys. The health benefits of the one and only okra. All right, now it's time to talk about food. Yes, good old food. Now, normally our go-to website for everything vegan is forksoverknives.com. But for this video, I thought I'd switch it up on you just a little bit. And I want to introduce a brand new website. It's called yumly.com. Once again, yumly.com. So on yumly.com, I did a little bit of research and I came across 2 amazing vegan okra recipes that I want to share with you right now. So the first one is entitled Vegan Okra Stew. Take a look at the picture. Looks delicious. Our second vegan okra recipe is entitled Egyptian okra. Take a look at that picture. Looks scrumptious. So, if your mouth is watering and you're ready to eat some okra, then please click on the description box. Why? Because I'm providing you with a direct link to each of these dishes. That's right, guys. Now, here's the good part, is that when you decide to go to these websites, is that you're going to find a lot of great information. Cooking time, ingredients, and of course instructions, or we can say directions, right? So do me a favor, make the dish, taste the dish, and then come back to the video and write a comment. So there we have it, guys. Not 1, but 2 amazing vegan okra recipes from yumly.com. All right, 23% Nation, I hear you. a lot of you say, well, Coach D, thanks for the fun facts. Coach D, I enjoyed the not so fun facts, but what I really want to know is, when should I eat more okra? Well, if that's your question, then the best time, and I do mean the best time to eat more okra, is Nature Day. What? Nature Day? Yes, good old Nature Day. Now, here's what we need to know. Nature Day is the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, maybe you've been living under a rock and you know absolutely nothing about the challenge. Well, here we go. The 23% challenge is basically a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships. Oh, and by the way, it also helps to save good old planet Earth. Now, as I just mentioned, the challenge is monthly, meaning every single month, and it's only 7 days long. As a matter of fact, it's the first 7 days of every single month, the first all the way through the 7th. Now, Nature Day happens to be the first day of the challenge, which means Nature Day is the first day of every month. So, if it's January 1st, February 1st, or even March 1st, it's always Nature Day. All right. Now, some of us may be intrigued. Some of us may be inspired and motivated, right? So let's talk a little more about Nature Day. Guys, Nature Day is all about eating more plants. So maybe you're the type of person who has heart disease. Maybe you're the type of person who's obese, or maybe you have cancer, or maybe you're diabetic and you're looking for a natural, holistic approach to help you become healthy. Or maybe you have some type of digestive problem such as constipation, or maybe you have skin problems like acne. And once again, you're looking for a natural remedy. Well, it's time to eat more plants, right? So what I want to do is offer you a few different ways to help make this transition easy. So I believe in taking baby steps. So you can try eating more plants, or shall I say plants only, before 12 p.m. or after 12 p.m., plants only and only water. That's right, guys. Now, for those of us who are ready to make a greater commitment, right, maybe you can try to become a 3% vegan. Now, what is a 3% vegan? Well, it's anyone, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 1 day out of an entire month. Next up, you may want to try to become a 10% vegan, which is anyone, man, woman, or child, who only eats plants and drinks only water only 3 days out of an entire month. Or you may want to try to become a 17% vegan, which is anyone, man, woman, or child, who only eats plants and drinks only water only 5 days out of an entire month. And lastly is a 23% vegan, which is what Coach D considers himself to be. So what does that mean? Well, it means that for the first 7 days of every single month, I only eat plant foods and only drink water. Now the question is, well, Coach D, which plant foods do you eat? It's very simple. I only eat plant foods that come from the 5 food groups of plant foods. And what are those? Well, say hello to fruits, vegetables and herbs, nuts and seeds, whole grains, and let's not forget about legumes, meaning beans and peas. And of course, I only drink water. So there we have it, guys. A little more information about good old Nature Day. All right. Now, a lot of us may now want to try to become a 3% vegan, or maybe even a 23% vegan, right? So Coach D wants to offer you a few tips. Why? Because I want your Nature Day to be successful. So tip number 1, go to your local grocery store. Now, when you get there, you're only going to go to 2 places. The first place is going to be the produce section, and the second place is going to be the freezer aisle. Why the produce section and the freezer aisle? Well, it's easy. In the produce section, that's where you're going to find all of your fresh plant foods. When you get to the freezer aisle, that's where you're going to find all of your frozen plant foods. Now, a lot of us may be wondering, well, Coach D, what's better, fresh or frozen? Well, believe it or not, the nutrient content of both are pretty much the same, so please don't fret. But I will say this, if you're the type of person who loves to chow down on plant foods, right, then you probably want to go with the fresh variety. However, if you're the type of person who likes to delay and maybe procrastinate on eating your plant foods, then you probably want to go with the frozen option. Why? Because the frozen options are going to last a little longer. Tip number 2, go to the prepared dishes section of your grocery store. Now, once you're done with the produce section and the freezer aisle, walk on over to the prepared dishes section. Now, depending on the name of the store, they may term it the kitchen. Well, whether it's the kitchen or the prepared dishes section, it doesn't really matter. Just walk on over, talk to the person behind the counter, and ask them if they have any vegan, not vegetarian options. Ask for a quick sample. Providing you like it, purchase it by the pound or maybe even 2 pounds if you really like it. Tip number 3, go visit your local farmer's market. Now, I highly recommend this for those of us who must eat organic plant foods. Why? Because farmers markets only cater to the organic plant food market. Tip number 4, go visit your local vegan restaurant. That's right, guys. It's time for us to support the vegan and wellness community. So let's do so by visiting a local vegan restaurant. Now, one of the major advantages to eating at a vegan restaurant is that they employ vegan chefs. Now, what's so special about that? Well, vegan chefs not only know how to cook plant foods, but they also know which plant foods to combine to produce the most delicious, nutritious dishes. And my last tip is to get a subscription to a vegan meal prep company. Now, these companies are amazing, especially for those of us who don't know how to cook plant foods, or those of us who don't want to cook plant foods, or for those of us who don't have time to cook plant foods, right? I say, let someone else do the cooking for you. Now, here's the really cool thing about these meal prep companies is that number 1, they make the dishes. Number 2, they deliver the meals. And number 3, you eat it. That's right, guys. It's just that simple. So there we have it. 5 amazing tips to help make your nature day successful. All right. It's time for our question of the day, which comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. We want to know, true or false? Okra is a vegetable. Now, I believe I covered this information earlier in the lecture, so do yourself a favor. If you didn't quite catch it, hit rewind and please post your answer in the comment box below. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching, and I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. Now, before I sign out, I got to ask you to please subscribe, like, and share the video, especially if you love okra. And don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's #EatMorePlants. As stated earlier, my name is Coach D. I'm signing out, but always remember to take care, God bless, and never, ever forget that Coach D loves you.